Can anybody tell me who I look like?
Like an old man.
An old man. Ho, 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 ho. Now who can tell me who I
Santa.
Santa? What do you think?
Santa.
What do you think?
Santa.
Oh man, Santa's gonna win the vote. Who do you think?
Santa.
All right, that's enough.
Santa. You keep on saying.
Guess what we're gonna go out by the garden, and we're gonna talk about feeding the not reindeer. We're gonna talk about animals and plants and all kinds of stuff. How many of you saw the movie Peter Rabbit? Ooh, all right. We're ready to rumble now. That's good. Then when I talk, you guys are gonna know what I'm talking about if you saw Peter Rabbit. Let's go, follow leader.
Oh, Peter.
Yesterday, come over here for a second. Somebody's tricking me. I was out here yesterday looking around to see what I could talk about, and there were yellow flowers everywhere. Now what happened? They're ready to blow apart and go all over the place?
Yeah, to make more flowers.
I know, I was going to have you pick all the yellow ones today so they wouldn't turn white like they are now. They're too late. Now you can pick them and blow on them and they fly all over the place. Is that a good thing? No, you don't want to do that because then all those seeds will go everywhere. When you look at it out here next year, there'll be even more than there is now. That would not be good. Okay, everybody swing around over here by the fence. Now why is there a fence around this space right here? How many people saw Peter Rabbit, that movie? You saw that? How come there's a fence going around this garden? Do you know?
Because when flowers are trying to grow, when it's nighttime, some animal will go over here and try to eat the flowers.
Think? What do you think? Why is there a fence going all the way around here? Animals might get in there. You think Peter Rabbit could squeeze in between the slats of the fence and get in there? Or are those too close together? What do you think? If he's little, he could probably squeeze right in between them, but if he's bigger, can a rabbit get through there? Can a cat get through there? Can a raccoon get in there?
No.
Raccoon couldn't get in there? Raccoon could climb right over the top of them and get in there. Now, if you look at the kind of weather that we've had this spring, you guys know what spring is, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
What time of year is that?
It's when flowers grow.
Yeah, that's time. What spring mean to you? Is that this time of year right now? Say yes. Yes, okay. What do you plant in the spring? What do you think?
Flowers.
What are the little things that stick in the dirt so that they sprout,
Seeds.
come up? Seeds? Seeds? What kind of seeds?
Sunflower.
What's the best vegetable seed you can think of? What would you want to eat if you were growing something in here? What would you eat?
Apple.
You'd plant apples in the vegetable garden? I don't know.
Carrots.
Carrots, okay. What would you plant?
Tomatoes.
Tomatoes. What would you plant? How many of you like hot radishes? Nobody? Right now, that's about the only thing out there that's coming up. If you look over there in that first box, over there to the right, where they have that wooden tub set, you look all the way over there. See those two little rows of plants that are coming up?
Yeah.
There's two little green rows. Those are radishes. That's what that is. If you look around, what else do you see that's coming up as seeds?
Nothing.
Nothing. Yeah. You know why there's a whole lot growing out there right now? What kind of weather did we have about a month ago? It was still cold, wasn't it? Was it raining a lot?
Yeah.
A couple times it even snowed. So this has been a very cool spring, and hopefully it'll stay warm now and the seeds will start germinating and coming up. We'll start getting some plants growing. Now after spring, what time of year do we have? What season?
Summer.
Summer. Summer the best time of the year? I used to teach school, I thought it was.
I think so.
That's the good season of the year, summertime. You stay home for vacation. What comes after summer?
Fall.
Fall? What time of year is that for? Fall is when you do what?
You rake leaves.
Rake leaves? What do you do in the garden then? Anybody know? What do you do at the pumpkin farm?
Pick pumpkins.
Pick the pumpkins. That's when you go to the pumpkin farm and you pick out the best pumpkin that you see and you take it home. And what do you do with it? What do you do with it? You mean a jack-o'-lantern? Now, here's a question. Here's something you should remember. Back in 1820, when you had a pumpkin, you usually made a pumpkin pie. But you'd cut it, top off of it, you'd reach inside, and what would you grab out of the middle of it?
Seeds.
Seeds. What would you do with those seeds?
Plant them.
Do what?
Plant them.
You'd save them and plant them the next year? That's the best answer. You'd save the seeds. I've got a little basket over there. And I've got bottles. I've got all different kinds of seeds inside those bottles. I save them. Because if I didn't save the different kinds of seeds, like these here and some of these other ones, would I have anything to plant right now, this time of year? No. They always had to save their seeds from their different vegetables and plants so they would have something to plant in the dirt the next spring. I got peas. Those are strange looking peas. Usually when you eat peas, what color are they?
Green.
They're green, but these are all dried out. What happened to the green color? It dried out and faded away. And these are just regular seed peas. These, what kind of seeds are those? What do you think? No. This particular seed here, you can plant them in the garden or you can plant them in a great big area. If you don't have a garden, what's a bigger one called? A field. Has anybody seen a cornfield before? Okay, guess what kind of seed these are? Corn. This is corn seeds. And I could plant these in a great big field so I'd have enough corn when it got done growing in the fall, that I could collect it all and save it for the animals to eat in the winter time.
Also made popcorn.
They grow popcorn too. That's a good answer. Oh, now, what kind of seeds are those, buddy?
Pumpkins.
Pumpkin seeds. You know because you took them out of the inside of the pumpkin, didn't you? So these are the pumpkin seeds right there. Those are the ones that you save and you plant them next spring. Those are pumpkins. I've got bean seeds. I've planted some of these already. They're already in the ground out there, but they haven't come up yet. And these are black beans. Those there. Black beans. I still got a lot of those. Now if I plant all these beans, that'd make, every bean would be a plant, and every plant would get how many regular beans on it? Quite a few. So I could take this little bit of beans I got in here, I could have maybe 2 of those boxes full of bean plants. And I have enough beans for people to eat, plus seeds to save for next year. So what's the last season of the year? What do we have? Spring, summer, fall. What's the last one? Spring, summer, fall, and what? When you build a snowman? Winter. Winter's the 4th one. So there's 4 different seasons of the year. Winter's the coldest. Summer is the hottest. But it's the best because you don't have to do what? You know the answer.
Friends, what are we getting ready not to do?
No, I'm looking at you.
Oh, we don't have to go to school. We were talking about that. 13 days left.
Oh, just
We
13?
have a countdown. They know. 13 more.
Boy, when I was doing that, I had to go till like the 4th of June.
Oh, yeah. And this is actually extended.
So we started it after the 1st of September.
Right.
So that's the trade-off right
Yep.
there. Okay, does anybody know anything that I didn't talk about? Anybody? Didn't talk about the animals yet. Okay, that's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about the animals. We're going to talk about the farm animals. Now, there are several things that plants have to grow. About 5 different things they have to grow. Number 1, plants need to breathe. They need to breathe. So what do they need? You breathe with soil. What do you think?
The trees help the flowers get air.
Oh, so
That's
they need air to grow. They gotta breathe, just like we have to breathe. So number 1 is air. What's another thing plants need to grow?
water.
Water. You gotta give them water so they'll grow. So that's 2. What's another thing?
They'll need good soil.
Soil. You need to have dirt for them to grow in. Their roots have to be growing down into the ground so they get the number 4 thing, which is what? Who knows another thing that they need?
Sunlight.
Oh, that's one I didn't think of. Sunlight. They need sunlight, so that's number 4. But the other thing that's put into the soil to help them grow is something like you take every morning. What is that? You take every morning, you take what? Vitamins? Okay? The plants need vitamins. But you don't call them vitamins, you call it fertilizer. Okay? You mix that in the soil and that helps them grow. Makes them stronger, gives them good limbs, makes them grow bigger vegetables. Now, back in 1820, where would you get the fertilizer from? How many of you have a dog at home? How many of you have to go out in the backyard with a shovel like this scoop up the poop. You have to do that? You get paid for it?
No.
Oh man, that is a lousy job. If you have to do that and you'll get paid for it. Well, back in 1820, there was a barn that used to stand right over there where that brick house is. It was a little bit closer to us. But that's where they kept the horses and the cows, and they had chickens running all over the place here because there wasn't a road there wasn't a highway or nothing. Didn't have cars. They did have riding lawnmowers though. They would bring a horse out to the front yard and put a rope around his front leg so he wouldn't be galloping away, and he would eat the grass and keep it cut sharp by eating it, and you could also ride the horse. So get it? That was their riding lawnmower. Nobody's laughing. No, how come nobody's laughing? That was a silly joke, wasn't it? Okay, so this shovel here was used for going into the barn and getting the cow and the horse, the different animals' manure out of the barn. You shovel it into a wheelbarrow, wheel it over here by the garden, and pile it up. Every once in a while you throw weeds in it and you mix it with dirt, and after it's set there for quite a while, what would you use that for?
In the soil?
You put it in the soil, and that was your plant food. Okay? That's what you used to feed the plants. They didn't have vitamins, they had compost. And all that was just a little bit of dirt mixed with the cow manure or the horse, and it would break down and decompose, and you'd mix it into the dirt. And what would that make the plants do?
When you put compost into your garden, it helps the plants a lot more.
Makes them really, really, really grow.
And
It makes them happy.
And it has to be rotten and stuff.
If you'd come out here in the middle of the night, okay, and you'd listen real careful, you'd hear the plants singing. They'd be out there jumping up and down, dancing, and they'd be so happy because of all the cow poop that was mixed into the dirt and making them grow better. You think that's funny? This was used to dig the dirt up. To dig it, turn it over, make it easier to break it up, mix the compost into it. And this is called a spade. This is a spade. This is a shovel. This is used to dig the dirt. This is used to scoop the... Go ahead and say it. Scoop the poop. You got it. You got it. That's the way things worked back then. Now they had to grow enough food to feed everybody who lived here. And in the fall, when the corn was getting ready to pick, a child about your age, how many of you are 5 and 6? Almost everybody here. They'd send you out into the garden at midnight. And you'd have to sit out here all night when the corn was ripe with 2 pans and beat them together to scare the raccoons and different animals away. Because they didn't want them eating up all the corn that was ready to pick. So that was one of the children's jobs, to come out and scare the animals away. Now what was the most the orneriest animal that has a mask on his face that would come out here and try to steal the corn? You probably don't know. What is it? What do you think it is?
Werewolf?
A werewolf? Werewolves eat corn? No, what do you think?
A raccoon.
A raccoon. And he could probably climb right over the fence with no trouble at all. Whereas Peter Rabbit would have a hard time squeezing through those slats in between the boards and getting in there. Now you know what happened to Peter Rabbit somebody catch him? Somebody catch his brother?
No, his dad.
Oh, they caught his dad? Uh-oh. Did they put him in prison or they put him in a stew pot?
They baked him into a pie.
Oh, he got rabbit pied. Uh-oh. That's not good. Rabbit pied. Okay.
Why is there anything that's called rabbit pie?
Well, you know, I was last year. We came out here. Those apple trees right there had apples on them already. This year they're just starting to bloom. So that's the same reason why there's hardly anything coming up in the garden. Everything is behind schedule this year. We could go over there and look at these little green apples on those apple trees. They're not there this year because the weather stayed too cool. So they didn't bloom. The buds wouldn't open up and bloom. So we're behind about 2 weeks as far as the apples and the peaches and those things. Now, what time is it?
Go about
3 minutes? That's what I thought. All right. How many seasons of the year is there? 4. What time of the year do you plant seeds? Spring. What should you be afraid of when there's a full moon?
Raccoon.
Your first answer was werewolf. Full moon, werewolf, get it? But you were listening good enough, you knew you should say raccoon. So you get the prize of the day. Very good. Now what I was going to have everybody do was pick yellow dandelions so they wouldn't go to seed. But I'm like a day behind. They've already gone to seed. So right now, if you want to, for about a minute, see how many yellow dandelions you can pick. On your mark,
This will be nice.
get set, go.